Everybody, it is time for Minute to Skim It. Sorry, I was looking down at my phone, doing my shares. I hope everyone had a great new year. I know that I did. Got a little bit of time off. Because we're close and stuff. But this is going to be a really fun week because we had like the weird skip week last week with no absolute at all, and now we've got bunches of absolute, bunch of cool Batman goodness. I know you guys are waiting for get the end of a night fight, or at least it's the third part of the fourth part of the night fight. And then I'm also gonna do some books that maybe you don't have at your local comic shop, but might encourage you to hunt them down nonetheless, as I'm doing some reviews for one book that is from a really local guy to us, but he is also famous for doing a cool toy magazine that might be at your local comic shop. And then also I'm going to do a review on this really cool like modern crime noir series that is done by a really cool guy named Stephen Frank, who you probably would know him the most from his work on Iron Giant, which may be your entire childhood coming to your face right now, because who doesn't love Iron Giant? But anyway, all of these reviews and more coming up next. All right, it is time. I know everyone's already talking a little bit. Barlord's talking about the Absolute Bats, which he's talking about the Arc M storyline selling already for double digits on the Bay. That is crazy to hear. But really, more than like its potential future value, you definitely want to read it for its connection to everything that's happening in the Bats Absolute universe. It kind of warns you at the beginning that you're getting into something real serious. So let's do some reviews. Okay. All right. Here's the surprise thing I was going to tell you guys about. So this is the book that's done by Stephen Frank, who I met him at Comic-Con many years ago. He was selling this cool book called Silver, which was a vampire-based book, but it's way better than you could possibly imagine. But I didn't know about his work on Iron Giant then, and plus he's worked on a ton of other like cartoon things from your childhood, way more than just that. He's a really amazing fellow. If you are ever at Comic-Con, I highly recommend finding his booth. It's fairly large. It's a double-sized booth in one of the main comic book aisles. He's very friendly. He'd love to talk to you about all the stuff he's working on. He might tell you some inside secrets in Hollywood, because I don't know if he could, but he might if you ask him some cool stuff. So this Palomino series isn't really a book that has been released through regular distribution. This has actually been I think it's all been Kickstartered and then maybe released another way, but I've always got them directly from him. It is a really cool set in LA crime noir. So I always say perfect for people that were into the Bosch show. Did everyone watch Bosch? I thought Bosch was a really exceptionally done show. And then they did that offshoot series following one of the female detectives, I think. I forget what the name of that one is. But this one is truly LA noir. This one is the volume 4. The first release he did all 3 first volumes, graphic novels of Palomino. And then recently he just finished another campaign to do number 4 and 5, which I got both of. Really, really big, thick, awesome books. I did not finish reading the volume 4. There was no way to fit it in today to be able to read both 4 and 5 for you, but to tell you that it picks up some years after the original 3 series. And it is focused in on the daughter who is trying to gather information about what possibly happened in a murder tied to her directly, which I don't want to tell you anything about because it might wreck the entire first part of the series for you. But yeah, terrific, great big thick books with great art. The art is similar to what you see here on the front covers, and well worth the money if you can hunt it down, or just find an LCS that can get it from him, or just contact him directly. And his name is spelled interestingly. It's Franck. Don't try to put just regular Frank. All right, this is the one that is so much fun. Okay, so Blake Wright is a very talented fellow who has been doing a series of toy-related magazines for a while. Maybe Toys That Time Forgot, books, and then I forgot what the magazine's called for him. But he's been working on this graphic novel for a really, really long time. He told me how long, and I cannot remember 100% how long he said it took him to finish this. But it's been a passion project for him. You might actually recognize some of the art there on the front cover as being someone that I know that Jay knows. Does Jay recognize that artist?
That's not Kid, is it?
That's Dave Lentz.
Oh, it's Dave.
Yeah.
Wow. Dave really does everything.
Isn't he doing, didn't he do the Hocus Pocus stuff?
He did the lettering on Hocus, and Kit Wallace did the art.
Okay. They make such a good team. I kind of see them as like this.
Oh yeah.
They have to be together. It's like trying to separate Palmiotti and Connor. You just can't do it. It doesn't happen very often. Maybe long ago, but now I think they pretty much say you get one, you get the both of us, right? So this one is adorable. It is truly like all the people you see in this series, because I made it halfway through. I got to finish the rest of it. When you try to read like 3 graphic novels, it's not possible really. But there is a super bad guy in this one. You meet him. He has landed on someone's planet and essentially does a little bit of genocide, just a little bit. But everyone's kind of fish looking, right? So he looks like a fish a little bit. They look like fish. Moon Man Zero doesn't look like a fish. Looks more like you don't ever get to see their face. So I don't know if it's an actual man under there, but you can see there's like a gun-toting snail. It's pretty ridiculous and fun. It is not aimed at kids, although it does have that kind of like looking art. So don't buy it for your children, or at least you might have to explain some, like decision-making evil beings in this. But what I've read so far is super fun. Yeah, that makes sense. Earthworm Jim vibes, something like that. I'm trying to think of other things that I've read that might have been like this. It's pretty unique. Maybe a little bit like Battle Beast, except for the main character in this that does all the killing is not going to be your main man. Like, it's not Moon Man Zero. So the bad guy feels more like Battle Beast in this, and then everyone else kind of feels like they're just trying to keep up. So really fun, spacey, and animals doing people things, which is what Kyle calls it. Animals doing people things. I think that I'm gonna have to send a copy to Kyle because I think he'd like this. All right, here we go. Night Fight, tied into the DCKO storyline that's been going on and is super hot. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I know that when we first started down this road of DCKO, that a lot of people kind of were being a little bit more careful about their orders for the books. They weren't really sure what the demand was going to be, where the story was going to go, how excited you, the readers, were going to be about it. So you might have seen at the beginning of all of the DCKO stuff, there might have been kind of a limited amount of stuff on the rack at your LCS, and it might still be that way. But for us, for our store, we went in, we thought, kind of like strong, and we've been out of DCKO number 1 and 2 for a long time. I don't know, 3 might be the same soon. And then most of the tie-ins, all the like individual battles. So the way DCKO is kind of rolled out has been the first round of 32. It was really kind of like a capture the flag moment where Darkseid put out like very unique power objects like Green Lantern rings or mother boxes or those kinds of things, and just said, sure, everyone go out there, and whoever gets these 16 objects gets to move to the next round. And then the next round, and in that battle, that very first opening foray, Batman got knocked out. So, for everybody that's been reading the series, they were like, now, wait, what? Isn't Batman supposed to be like, shouldn't it really be that you get it down and it'll be Superman, Batman? Because that's the way every single, like, tournament thing ends up. But no, when it just kill bats right away, you're like, what is going on? So this is the side story in which Batman is actually alive. He's been knocked over by the Heart of Apocalypse over into this side battle in which they basically have pitted him against all of his kids. It's very interesting. It feels like these are almost like what if kinds of ends of the universe, in which I think that's Tim there in the middle, who is the Batman of his universe. It runs it very much differently than his dad. And the first round, I think, was with the Red Hood looking one. So they're all Batman. They're all his kids that have taken on the roles of Batman wherever they are. You kind of need to read KO number 1 first. You kind of do. I did just ruin stuff for people. I feel like we're like many, many weeks into it. And I don't want you to, like, if you can't find the issue, not know what's going on from there. So I apologize. Really, really apologize if I've done any spoilery things for you guys. So this is kind of cool. So we got this one, really Batman trying to figure out how to cheat the Heart of Apocalypse, who is, the Heart has an actual dialogue, like narration in this book that I don't remember from the last 2, but maybe it was there also. And so this is Batman trying to beat Apocalypse at its own game and still getting the result he wants by playing within the parameters of the night fight for that bit. So if you've ever wanted to see all the Bat Kids as Batmen, this is a great storyline, and it is really Batman being the very smartest version of himself by trying to, it's what I always thought about him as a detective, is he wasn't just like, how do I be the best fighter or just be the smartest cookie and be observant. It was also his thinking things all the way through and beating the bad guy with working the rules to his favor, right? Instead of always being the most powerful or the strongest. It was that he was the smartest in his planning. So that's what's going on here, and it's really cool. So if you have been avoiding all of the extra stuff outside of DCKO, the main storyline, I think what people are realizing now is that everything tied to DCKO, they really put their heart and soul into the storytelling of these. They're not kind of like throwaway things at all. They're really special. So think about adding everything DCKO going forward if it's okay with your pocketbook. I've read all of it, and I have not read a single thing that I was like, well, I could have skipped that week this week. All right, everyone's been waiting for this thing, except for those weird stores that broke all the rules last week. So, don't get me started about that nonsense. So for a long, long time, we've all operated with integrity and waited for a release date for all of the books that we're releasing, because that was the fun about having a release date, that you were like, everyone was waiting at the front door, waiting for a book to come out, and everyone that got there at that time also then talked to everyone else that was waiting and like, did you read last week's books? What did you like about last week's books? That was like the fun about the community of it. And the whole, getting things released as soon as it comes into your, the boxes of the store kind of wrecks all of that really coolness about it and makes it more of a competition for like where you can find a store that'll cheat the system. So I don't know. That's just me saying I don't like the way it's headed for the way people have been breaking rules for release date. But anyway, I waited until today to read this book, even though I've had a PDF in my email box for like 3 or 4 weeks now, because I like the whole excitement of reading it with you guys. I know I cheat it by like, I don't know, however many hours that I read it for now, between now and the time that it gets released tomorrow. So I apologize that I have to cheat it, but I cannot do a review without you. So So here we go. Arc M is doesn't have any of the gigantic hits like that what you got with the annual. So there's not going to be that kind of probably social media, like the public being aware of, elbow breaking stuff. But for people that are reading the series of Absolute Batman and to know anything about Arkham Asylum or any of those things, you'll definitely have to have this in your collection of Absolute Batman goodies. So I know you guys already know this, that there's no throwaways in Absolute Batman. They're all very important things. So this storyline has been a long time coming. The parts I can tell you about is it is a tale about the very beginning of Arkham Asylum, the person who like built it like from the ground up, what money they used and what their desire for it was. And that storytelling is very nice. I really like the motivations for creating it. But it is colored by the fact that if you're going to create a place to help people with their mental health, you are probably going to have people that are on the far ends of the spectrum for being really difficult cases. So you might imagine you can tell what kind of characters you might see in those early days of Arkham Asylum. But this one does really lead you on this journey of, you think, just like all of the books have been so far, you think you know where it's headed and which character it's tying to. And oh, thanks, Corey. These are my meta crazy glasses. And it does take you on a hard boop. So whoever you think you're reading about, you might not be. So it's cool to be a detective yourself and read these books and think, hey, maybe I can figure out what is going on here. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it's not true that it does totally go crazy. I'm cryptic. Miss Jen is cryptic because I don't want to wreck this book for anybody. With matching, I really hope it was created to preserve the future of Gotham with matching pairs of criminals. Pairs? What do you mean by pairs of criminals? This one gives us criminals. It definitely gives us criminals. But it's very interesting. So anyway, there are a bunch of cool covers for this book. Definitely. Oh, you mean, so that you have like a that kind of match? I don't know. Have we seen very many female bad guys? We know we've got Talia, and we definitely have Harley. And soon we're going to get Ivy, because we already seen millions of cover art pictures of the next issue of Absolute. A Gotham arc. Haha, I got you. Nope, I don't think that's what's happening here. Or at least this book is not about that. That would have been funny, though, if that was kind of like the double meaning behind the name. But no, I don't think so. Waiting for an Absolute Gardener. Ooh, that'd be cool. The Gardener would be cool. All right, so anyway, definitely you're going to get this book this week, right? Oh, this was so much fun. All right, so just like the Rivals game, this one is supposed to be super fun. And yes, there's a bunch of battle things that go on here, but this one's main storyline features is around this character in the middle, Luna Snow. And she, I guess, is a musician or singer of some merit. I did not know that before. I've been kind of like, I guess, not paying attention. But in this one, she has been hired to sing at a very specific kind of like club. But you find out in the book that the club is one of those that doesn't stay in the same space and is a little bit like mystic in that it changes locations, and you have to be you have to know where it's going to be able to go and enjoy it. But she runs into some trouble, because she doesn't really know where it is. She's late to go show up, and then she runs into a bunch of battle stuff, including she gets challenged she goes to a wrong bar that kind of looks like it should be the right bar for her to go to, and she has to do a drinking challenge while she's there. The bartender says, if you meet the drinking challenge, I will tell you where the other bar is. And then if you don't, you have to do your set here at my bar, which looks like it's a really dead bar, by the way. And who she has to do the drinking challenge with is hilarious. And the way that the battle resolves is also hilarious. So all cool art, fun. I think maybe it's not made for kids, because otherwise why would you have a drinking game in it? Anyway, it's cool. And there is, just like you want to know, I know that all you're asking, you don't care about anything about this book. You just want to know if Jeff the Land Shark is in there. And yes, Jeff is in there. I got it finally, Unknown. I finally got it. I'm just that dumb. I'm too slow.
You did read like 90 books, so you're forgiven.
It was not 90. Actually, it's so funny, when I pulled my books today, I was like, oh, this is not going to work, because I felt like it was a light amount of books, because there was a ton of books that were releasing this week, but a lot of them are middle of series, but not middle of series that like we've reviewed all of them, or the main story arcs that everyone's reading right now. So I felt like I couldn't just grab number 5 of something that I hadn't read any of the other ones. So I was really excited about reading the 2 graphic novels for my friends. So that's how you ended up here. Ultimate Wolverine. I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're like, didn't Ultimate Endgame come out last week? Didn't that resolve everything in the Ultimate Universe? And now isn't the Ultimate Universe dead and it doesn't exist anymore? Clearly, if you read last week's Endgame, you know that's not true. Things happened, but they did not end things. So if you're really worried about that, I mean, there might be at some point some kind of consolidation or something going on. But right now, that's not what's going on. This is like straight on storytelling from the last Ultimate Wolverine. So I hope you were looking forward to such things. What does Ultimate Wolverine do in this? This one is kind of an interesting tale. Do you remember the one? I wish I remember. I actually posted about it in my own personal like choices of the year. There was an Ultimate Wolverine issue in which the whole issue was like a wolf and a bear fighting. And then it was a bunch of narration. And the narration was about something that was going on with Ultimate Wolverine and the main storyline. But what you were looking at was this beautifully done like fight between these 2 natural, predators, to the death kind of thing. But then when you get to the end of the story, it kind of like all tied together. Might have been 4. I literally, when I was trying to find images of it for what I wanted to post, I just kind of like looked up Ultimate Wolverine Bear and Wolf Fight. Google is awesome. There are some things that I hate AI for. It's wrecking our creativity and our brains because we just look up stuff because we're so lazy about it now. But for things like this, there's like, without having every single issue in front of me and really needing to, find the stuff, it's like I found that to be an acceptable use of AI. Just putting dumb words into Google and Google going, do you mean this? I'm like, why, yes, that is exactly the book I was looking for. So anyway, this one is, it does get back into not that exact style, but there is a whole battle with him and a bear, but that bear is actually an ultimate something. So you'll definitely want to read this book for that purpose specifically. But also, does this one have the... Don't want to get it mixed up. Hold on. No, that's the Shadows one. Sorry, the Shadows one that I read right before it, which is the X-Men Days of Tomorrow, Age of Revelation epilogue, has some Nightmare Bear. I don't think it's a Nightmare Bear. No. Wish I could show you some of these pages on it because it is
the image, Miss Jen.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yes. Is that? Did you just Google that and that's what it gave you?
Yes, I did.
It does a really good job. Oh, sorry, I was just trying to. Oh, that's what's going on. So at the end of the last issue, almost everyone got destroyed except for Wolverine survives. The one, what's his name? Sentinel 1? Sentinel 1? I think it's Sentinel 1. And they have they have Jean, the Dark Phoenix version, knocked out, and they've got her, but she doesn't make an appearance in this one. She's basically knocked out the whole time. So this is like them trying to like move on from that part of the storyline where everything was just like messed up big time. So cool stuff. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Corey. Thank you for that Nightmare Bear. Okay, Shadows of Tomorrow. This is Age of Revelation epilogue. All right, so this is so important. I can't even tell you how important this one is if you're following the Age of Revelation storyline. So I'm going to flex my muscles a little bit and get all this storyline straight. What you learned in the end of Age of Revelation, that one big omega that they did at the very end, that was that there have been Cyclops and Beast had been sent forward in time to try to figure out something that they could do to prevent what's going on. And in this book, they're being thrown back into their bodies in the past because they've made this big plan for how they're going to get at Doug / Revelation before he has this first act that starts him down the path of Age of Revelation that's got us into. So here's the problem in this book. You have Cyclops show up in his body, but somehow the whatever electrical feed or whatever that's going to get Beast back into his body, that does not work. And everybody that is, from that timeline and that period time are real pissed off because their Scott is gone. And in place of him is this future Scott, who then immediately tries to kill Doug. And they like Doug, and they don't want him to be killed. So this is like very clear early on here that something's gotten messed up. How messed up is it? Like, have we messed up all of timeline by going back here and doing this? Is there not really a way to go back and prevent something that was already started? What else should you like in this? There's some cool Magneto stuff. Yeah, this is as much as I'm going to tell you. But this one is very key to the storyline overall. I'm going to be handing it to everyone that comes in tomorrow that has already, was already all into the Age of Revelation stuff, so they don't miss this one, because they will be sad if they miss it. Oh, this one, I don't know if you ever remember back in the early days of the Bad Idea stuff, they had this book called Hank Howard Pizza Detective release as a 1-day release. Do you guys remember this book? Where you could buy it for $1. You could only buy one of them. And then when the day was finished, all remaining copies were supposed to be, I don't remember what we were supposed to do. This, throw them away, send them back. I can't remember. But it was a ridiculous story. It was literally a guy named Hank Howard that would do investigations around pizza parlors. That was the whole shtick. And that's what this one's about. It starts up a story. It's not just a single shot. It's one actually has ongoing, at least for a few issues, where he has been following around a pizza delivery guy who he reckons is spending too much time at each of his stops, so he knows something is going on. And he does catch this pizza delivery guy delivering something other than pizza. So then everything gets, it's so funny because it's so straightforward in its crime noirness that it ignores completely the fact that, like, who's paying a detective to like watch what's happening to pizza? Like, his entire thing is like, I want to make sure pizza is delivered properly. But it's all black and white. It's on that cool like news stock. Hey, Grimshaw, how you doing, my friend? So it's all done in this really cool way that makes it feel like it's embracing the whole Ed Brubaker or whatever. But you have the Caligula safe. That's the one that's the single shot, right? Is that right? I think that's the one.
So
I can't even remember what the premise of that one is. I know it's the same kind of like thing, but you're like, who thought this up? When these guys were getting ready to write this series, did they just like throw two things in a hat? They're like, we want to do crime noir. What is it about? They just drew like pizza parlor or something. Like, how? So anyway, it's awesome. You're not going to read anything else like that this week. I can guarantee you that you're not going to be reading Arc M and think to yourself, oh man, there's just too much that's similar within these two books. Not even the other crime noir book this week is anything like this book. So make sure to get this book. Okay. For lovers of everything Nightmare Before Christmas, or even if you've never read Nightmare Before Christmas, you'll be fine. You kind of have to know the characters, like what their deal is. You have to kind of know Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and you have to know the three witchy girls that I can't remember their names ever. You know Dr. Finkelstein, is that right? Gosh. It's been a long time since I watched those films. Clearly. I'm gonna get killed by Blair, who's dating my son. They're gonna kill me for not knowing this stuff. Because it's their favorite thing. So what the premise is that the doctor is trying to create something terrifying, I guess, to be part of the very first day of their Halloween Town celebration. And what happens and comes out of the machine, or however the process they were making the thing, is this cute little bear who looks a lot like Sally. He's got clearly Frankenstein kind of looking scars and all that stuff. And then immediately this creature is like rejected out of hand by pretty much everybody. But then, you got Lock, Shock, and Barrel who kind of want him. And then the witches decide they want him. And then Lock, Shock, and Barrel are trying to steal, or the witches think that Lock, Shock, and Barrel are trying to steal their herbs and stuff. I don't know what their purpose is for doing that. But anyway, it's a fun first issue with all your character loves. I don't think there's Jack. There's no Pumpkin King in this first issue. Maybe he'll come and save the day or something. Anyway, I hope the bear finds someone to love him. You had us in the background? Nice. Very cool. I don't mind being in the background. Okay. Cool. This is full on crazy. Okay. Do you remember the, like, I think she's a doctor that Bruce met? I can't remember how they came across each other. I need to go back and read the last issue, but I think we sold out of them, so it's hard to do. But they had some kind of connection, right? A little bit of flirtation. Picking up the girls. Nice. So the beginning of this book has Bruce picking her up. She's wearing a skirt and heels. And the discussion is immediately between the two of them, is this a date? And he keeps on using words that make it feel like it's not a date. He just needs to hang out with her and get some information out of her regarding things that are going on in the city, all those kinds of things. But what you see right away is that she can't see, but Bruce can see, that there are many ninjas with samurai swords on motorcycles coming right at them. I mean, that's literally what happens in the first one page. I'm not spoiling anything because that's how it leads in. This is the opening scene of the movie, as I say. And then in this car, the motorcycle chase, which that chase thing is super fun, there is another character that shows up. It is definitely a bad date. That's what I'm saying. Oh, and also there's the thing that makes it confusing is that he gives her a little box. So there's definitely a gift. And she's like, this is definitely a date if you're giving me a gift. So anyway, the box comes in play into the story, which is super fun. That character that you see up above, I think this is our first appearance for seeing this character. It's a very dangerous character. And so it is them, both of them between a rock and a hard place, on the run, learning stuff about each other, obviously, because she's going to see him fully in his ability to protect her. He's not wearing the bat suit, right? But so I don't know. This might be the beginning of something really good. That's Thursday. It's not what's in the box, but what he's saying, what Unknown's saying, is what's in the box that's on the date box. I can't tell you because that's so important to the story and super fun to read the reveal is. But I will say again, if you have been liking this Batman series, definitely put it on your pull list because we are seeing that our numbers for this book are ramping up the same way they are for Absolute, and we're selling through all of our issues also for this book. So, and it is every bit as good as that Absolute run. So, super loving it. Okay, Absolute Superman. When last we saw him, we were full on in the war for Kansas, which sounds funny when you say it out loud, doesn't it? In which the Lazarus Court had taken over, bought up all the land, kicked people off, whatever. There was a bunch of stuff going on in Kansas in which there was real war over it. If you ask me why LexCorp had such a hard on for that area, I don't know. Maybe they really do know who. I think that in this one, there's not a lot of like secrets for who Clark Kent is. Everybody knows that he's Superman. And if you haven't caught up with the storyline in the last issue or two, you know that Soul, which is his ship that kind of like downloaded into his brain and kind of like helps him form his cool cape there, which I thought was more integral. I thought without Soul you couldn't have the cape, but it's clear that that part's not true. But Soul gave up their life, its life, in recent issues, so dead. And in this one, it kind of seems to reinforce that because he does try to reach out to Soul, which usually he could just talk to in his brain. And it basically, the message comes back and says this entity is not found. So I'm hoping that's all a lie. I miss Soul too. I know the fact they made you feel real bad for a cape is kind of ridiculous and awesome. And awesome. So this is aftermath of that storyline. It is really Cal trying to figure out where to go from here. It leans into that the thing you get in the Marvel universe with Pete, or like the responsibility of doing something if you know something bad is going on, because he can hear everything with his super hearing. He can't act like he didn't know what happened on the other side of the globe when someone needs help, but he needs to till the field so he can plant because he's determined to do farming the way his parents did farming and not use superpowers to do it. So this is a little bit heartbreaking to see him go through the ringer of just trying to find some kind of balance and being unable to turn off the voices in his head, for lack of a better term for it. I continue to love this character because I continue to write stories that make me care about the character and not have it be about battle to battle to battle. So when the battles occur, I care what happens to him. I care what happens to the people that are around him. So they're doing a great job.
Before we get to the next book, I just got to say that last issue had me bawling by the last page.
I know. They're doing such an amazing job all across the board for all the books, I swear. All right. So in this book, when we last left it, we're like 2 books away from the book that got me all stoked to actually read these, which was the whole issue about the main character and her wife and how they ended up not together, which is definitely because of her infidelity. Not her wife's, but the Green Lantern character. She did the naughties when she shoulda. But the complexities here is that her wife also works for this like crazy organization that is, I don't know how to, it's like super spy something or others that are trying to figure her out, her powers and where they came from and all that stuff. It is a really cool cover. So the last issue, I think you got to see this character for the first time. It's someone covered in all gold because for some reason I don't know if this is part of regular Green Lantern lore, but for her at least, that gold things are the only thing that is her weakness. So this character has covered themselves completely in a gold costume, and in the last issue had shot her pew pew with 2 gold bullets. And so this book opens up exactly when that one ended, where she is on the ground with 2 bullets in her, trying to figure out a way to survive the circumstance. If you are squeamish about many bloods, this book is probably going to make you very squeamish. I don't know what to tell you. There is so much blood. And she is boss. She's can take a lot of pain and keep on it going. And I think we get to see the revelation of who is under this costume. I don't think we've known this before. And yeah, that's all I'm really going to say to you. That is Lindsay for the cover artist, if people like that art style. I like it. It's beautiful. All right. And also in other news for books, sorry, they're out this week. The one that you've probably been waiting for is some stores have had the larger version of the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow book that pretty much we know is the inspiration for the new Supergirl film. But you can get the new compact edition starting tomorrow. They're only $10, so they are a great way to read that story. And I have a feeling the print run is going to be just eaten up really quickly. We ordered heavy because we know that people know what the book is because we've sold a bunch of them, of the regular editions, but this one's a little more affordable we're seeing a lot of young people be very interested in comic books now. And I mean, they're all working like regular, fast food jobs and stuff. They're not accountants. So $10 is a beautiful price point. Thank you, DC, for continuing to make these books for us because I mean, honestly, I see people often buy both versions of them over time, that they'll get the little compact one and then they'll buy the nicer, like hardbound ones for maybe their bookcase or something. Or maybe they loan out the little $10 one, or maybe they're taking the $10 one on a vacation. I mean, at $10, you can almost kind of read it on the plane, and when you're done with it, just like hand it off to someone that looks interested. I've done that before when I've had a book that I know I'm not going to put in my bookshelf forever. and I would just have to carry it around and, weigh down my luggage. I've handed books off to someone that looked interested in it in the next row. Got a V for Vendetta for that for $10. And Corey, do you already have a copy of V for Vendetta? Is this your second copy of V for Vendetta? Are you going to prove my point of people like to have all the versions of things? When they first started advertising these things, people were saying that they thought that the speech bubbles would be too small to see, but they've somehow ramped them up so they look just right. No problem. Also available this week is Kill Them All. This is a hardcover Kyle Stark's book, which is very popular. This one's a book, I think this is an original graphic novel from Oni's Press called The Snowcat Prince. And this looks 100% adorable. She's a snowcat, the youngest in a family of princes. Princes, not princesses. When his father dies, Siv and his brothers are all in line for the throne. Ooh, it's a battle of the brothers. So probably for people that like Warrior. Do you remember the Warrior cat books? I love those. It's also time to get Invincible, the compact edition, volume 13. We got some more Ghostbusters Dead Man Chest graphic novels. You can get volume 5 of the Daredevil series. You can get Tyler Boss's You'll Do Bad Things. I believe this is all of it, all together in one book. You can get A Nest of Serpents, which is Conan the Barbarian, volume 6. Farmhand, volume 5, which is the end of the series, as it's called The End. You can get criminal tie-in book, Cruel Summer. There's a Catwoman, Never Let Them Smell Blood, which is volume 2. Here's the books that I read that are available at stores that supported the Kickstarter. Called Palomino. And then all new Venom. I'm sure there's other stuff too, but these are the graphic novels that we got in. And, ouch, my leg. So right after this, to get about 10 minutes break in between, I'm going to be selling these books and then all the rest of the books that were released this week. So I probably won't go over the, what's this book about again? I've already told you guys one time, and I don't want you to get bored with me. But I'm going to be selling all the books from this week, including the variants and all that stuff. And then after that, I'm going to have a bunch of cool books that are from a collection that I took in that hold your butts for this one. It was entirely a Golden Age and Silver Age DC collection. Never, ever had a just DC collection come in. It's almost always Marvel and DC. This was 3 short boxes of really great stuff. Some first appearance goodies in there. So that's what I'm going to be doing after this. Everyone give thumbs up to Jay. Thanks, Jay, for being on the back end. Kyle's been under the weather, so send some good wishes out his way. He barely has a voice.
Yeah. Hoping he gets well soon, because at 10 Eastern, 9 Central tonight, after Miss Jen, we're going to have Kicking It with Henri. It's going to be a wild show. He's got an idea for what we're going to do. It seems like it's going to be pretty fun. And then Wednesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, you got the 1 hour of comic collecting power with Rex with Comic Collectibles. And then at 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central.
You guys,
he looks good with that hair.
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad with a fro.
Well, yeah, so stay tuned all week. Make sure you're subbed up. If you are subbed up, make sure you're still subbed up. And stay tuned next for more Miss Jen.
Bye, y'all.